Welcome back to day 2 of 12 Days of Itchy Tasty, where I look at 12 random horror games that I find on Itch.io and tell you what I thought about them one day at a time, leading all the way up to Christmas. You know, I get that the PT clone is now a legitimate genre of horror games, and while they're incredibly overdone by this point, I can't help but defend the concept, as horror is literally about turning what you are familiar with and skewing it in such a way that makes it uncomfortable, nerve-wracking, and generally, well, horrific. That's literally what makes horror such a good genre, in my opinion. So imagine my sadness when I have to look you dead in the eye and say that the 13th loop isn't good. I frown, I cry, I weep, I die. What the 13th loop is a PT clone, but it is clearly an early development game from a pair of game designers. In it, you do the PT thing of going down a hallway ad nauseum and solve puzzles that are gatekeeping you from repeating the loop. And I want to be very clear that I hate being negative to what is clearly someone's early attempt at making a horror game, because I never want to dissuade anyone from creating games. What I want to do is explain what I think the devs need to work on in order to make this a better project. And I have two main issues. 1. The game has pretty much no scares whatsoever. I get that what they were probably trying to do is the less is more, and expecting the tension of the hallways looping to be where the horror comes from, but after a certain point of realizing that nothing is coming and nothing does, then your tension deflates faster than a balloon at a knife show. 2. 90% of the puzzles are a find item, use item puzzle. And to clarify, that's fine. I like those. Early Resident Evil games are filled to the brim with them. But when almost every one of these looping hallways consists of like one room that requires an outstretched arm, and if you just like turn around, the thing that you need is just on the table or just in the other room in the hallway, it kind of feels just tedious, like busy work. Like work that your teacher gave you when you were in detention so you had something to work on, but it wasn't even something you needed to turn in for a grade. Sure, there are some hallways that present an interesting concept, like the one where you have to go underground, or the one where you have to put body parts in cadavers depending on what the person died from, but there's almost nothing here that stands out or is all that well executed, save for maybe the aforementioned underground loop. I get that the people that worked on this have a lot of respect for games like Silent Hill, and more specifically PT, but I hope that they can learn from this, because as it is, the 13th floor is not really worth your time. I just hope that if the devs see this, you aren't discouraged.